Today I'm going to show you how to compare fractions using number lines. How do we compare fractions? Fractions can be greater than, less than, or equal to another fraction. During the last lessons, we used fraction strips and benchmark fractions to compare fractions. Today, you will use number lines to compare different fractions. The number lines used need to be the same length because you are comparing the same whole. How can you compare fractions using the number line? Let's take a look at this problem. David has two different lengths of string. He has 3/4 yard of green string and 1/4 yard of purple string. Does he have more green string or more purple string? Let's take a look at both fractions. 3/4 and 1/4 have the same denominator, so I only need to draw one number line. Then I'm going to take my number line and place my wholes on them. Because 1/4 and 3/4 are less than one whole, let's put 0 and 1. Then let's break them into the denominator, the number of parts. Because it's 4, let's break this number line into 4 equal parts and label each part on the number line. The first tick mark being 1/4, the second tick mark being 2/4, and the third tick mark being 3/4. Let's find 1/4 on the number line. I put a little box around it, and let's find 3/4 on the number line. Again, I put a box around it. Since 3/4 is farther right on the number line than 1/4, 3/4 is going to be greater than 1/4. Let's try another one. Let's compare 3/8 and 5/8. Did you notice that the denominators are again the same? So we only need to draw one number line. Because both fractions are less than one whole again, we are going to use the whole numbers 0 and 1. Let's break this number line into 8 equal parts because the denominator is 8. Then let's put our fractions at each tick mark. The first being 8/1/8, the second being 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, 5/8, 6/8, 7/8. Let's find 3/8 on this number line, put a box around it, and let's find 5/8 on this number line. And I put a box around it. Since 5/8 is farther right on the number line than 3/8, 3/8 would be less than 5/8. Let's try another one. Let's compare 1/3 and 1/8. Now both of these fractions have different denominators, so now I'm going to draw two of the same length number lines. They have to be equal because we need to be talking about the same whole. They are both fractions are less than one whole, so I'm going to use the wholes 0 and 1 to place my fractions on. I'm going to take the first number line and break it into 3 equal parts because the denominator of 1/3 is 3. I'm then going to place the fractions at each part on this number line, 1/3 and 2/3. Now I'm going to take my next number line and break it into 8 equal pieces because 1/8 has 8 as a denominator. I'm going to put a label at each tick mark again. 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, 5/8, 6/8, and 7/8. Let's find 1/3 on the first number line, and let's find 1/8 on the second number line. Since 1/3 is farther right on the number line than 1/8, 1/3 is going to be greater than the fraction 1/8. Let's give it one more try. James ran 3/4 of a mile. Lisa ran 6/8 of a mile. Who ran a longer distance? If you notice that these two fractions don't have the same denominators, so again, I need to make two different number lines that are the same length. They're both smaller than one whole again, so I'm going to use my wholes 0 and 1 to place my fractions in between. The first number line I'm going to break into, you got it, 4 equal parts because the denominator is 4, labeling each part 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. Excellent. Now I'm going to break the second number line into 8 equal parts, labeling each tick mark with the correct fraction, 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, 5/8, 6/8, 7/8. Now I'm going to find 3/4 and 6/8 And if you notice, they both ran the same distance because 3/4 and 6/8 are at the same distance on both number lines. So 3/4 is equal to 6/8. Now you've learned how to compare fractions on a number line.